I'm down here, Alexandria, Louisiana, and I stumbled across what appears to be an old elevated, I guess, train route. Tracks are no longer there, but there's little subtle signs of the prior existence of a railroad. So we're gonna check it out real quick, see if we can find any indicators that this was actually a train route. Now, there are some rails down below here. Some rails, some old rails. They are dislodged. I believe they used to be up here. And here's an old marker. I'm not sure if that's a mileage marker, and that's the city up top, but it says KC 682. And then the interesting part, and what got my attention about this area, was that at the end of this mound, or whatever you want to call this elevated track route, there's some old concrete portions that look like they used to be an old train bridge. There's something else in the, it's a metal post, doesn't really show anything, but so we'll take this down to the end and see what we find, if there's any indicators. It looks like all the rails have been removed. But I've been down here visiting, and there's so much history down here in Alexandria, Louisiana, that's been unexplored. You know, it's a mixture though. You gotta be careful down here because it's a lot of crime and homelessness, you know, indicative of a impoverished area. Not sure if those are part of something that used to belong to the railroad or not. If you know, please comment, let me know. But as I go further down, I see more and more objects that appear to be related to the railroad. It's kind of interesting. So anyway, a lot of history down here. A lot of abandoned history. It's probably untold history. And so I'm just trying to capture some of this while I'm down here. Excuse my unprofessional recording. I don't typically do this for a living. Well, that's funny. There's some military rank down here and a couple items. I don't know what that means. It almost looks like someone intentionally put those things there. I don't know if that's a sign that something happened to somebody here, or, you know, an old soldier. It's just kind of funny that that stuff is literally organized in the way that it is. But just walking along the elevated trestle here, just trying to get a view of up ahead. This is the old trestle I was talking about. See it up ahead, where it actually connects. I don't know if you can see it yet, but if not, you'll see it in a few seconds. It actually does connect across to these other trestles, or whatever they're called. And you can see straight across. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 of them actually. And then there's another high point straight ahead. Looks like it's part of a levee. The levee probably came after these railroad tracks were here. But you got a lot of old buildings. There's a lot of history down here. And if I were to walk, let me see if there's any remnants of the railroad down here on the side. Looks like possibly some old railroad ties right there that were thrown off to the side when the track was disassembled. But it's pretty interesting. And if I continue down this way, which is the way that I started, there's actually an old, or what's left of, like an old building or a bunch of series of buildings at the end of this walkway that actually says Continental Oil Company. So I guess that if in fact there was a train here, at some point the train would stop, there. I guess oil cars or whatever would fill up there. But this place is so overgrown now. I'm not going to go back to where the buildings are, unfortunately, because there's a lot of trash, and I can see where the homeless people have kind of taken over that area. So obviously for safety reasons, I'm not going to go there. But I'm going to see if I can get some footage possibly of the the Continental Oil Company. Then also down here, it's a bunch of foundations, remnants of the past. Used to mean something, but anyway, I'm really into this stuff. I know that some of you on YouTube are as well, and my hope is that this has value to someone who watches this, as it does for me. Like I said, I'm not a professional videographer. Don't do this for a living. But I enjoy this. So I'm hoping that many of you will too. I'm inspired by several people that are on YouTube currently. They like to capture old things that were just abandoned buildings and roads, and specifically railroad tracks, that were very relevant in the past, but now they seem to have just fallen by the wayside, and society just continues to move around without them, or move around them, and not really pay them any mind. But this was the infrastructure of the United States, and this is, what it was built on. So here again is that marker. If anybody knows, I don't know if that's like Kansas City, 682 miles, possibly. I don't see a decimal or anything, so I assume maybe that's what that is. And then we've got this other piece of concrete here. Don't know what that was for, but it definitely looks like it's been here just as long as that marker has. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it. As you see, this comes to an abrupt end where there's trees cut off or fallen, blocking the rest of the path. And unfortunately, if I work my way down this hill without falling, hopefully, let's see. Wish me luck. If I fall, I'll keep it on camera. Okay, so I made it to the bottom. And this is that path I was referring to that actually must lead to like the standard, I keep saying standard, the Continental Oil Company. But I don't think it's probably too wise to go down this path because, as you can see, it's riddled with trash and God knows what else is down there. It looks like there's a dumpster down there or something that, somebody had an attempt to clean this up and failed. But regardless, I assume this is the front pathway to the Continental Oil Company. I'd love to go down there, but if I had someone else with me, I probably would. But going by myself is probably not the wisest decision. So if I cross back over the mound where I believe the railroad track was, on the other side is where I parked my vehicle, and there's an actual road there. It's a dead-end road. It ends into it's like a cotton company. I think it looks like it's still active because all the buildings look pretty new, and it's got a fence around it that's in pretty good shape. There's the old rails that I was referring to. Still there. You can see. I wonder if I can date one of these rails real quick. That would be interesting. Let's take a look and see if I could see a date on the rail, because that would be awesome. It's pretty buried, so unless the part that has the date on it is not buried, I might not have much luck here, unfortunately. Yeah, that rail's pretty buried. It's been here a long time. There's another one over here by this tree stump, but obviously I need to be careful because there's a lot of holes down here and things live in holes, so I got to be careful. But let's see if we can identify. That rail is pretty rusted, so I don't think I'm gonna have much luck there. Let's see. Yeah, that rail is shot. That's not gonna happen. Okay. Very thick brush in this direction. Not gonna have much luck seeing the oil company through there, but it's back there. So we'll take a walk over that way and see what we can find. I know there's a lot of railroad spurs that dead end into a lot of these abandoned factories, and so I plan on exploring some of those and trying to look up the history of the buildings that the spur is connected to. That stuff interests me. So as you can see, I'll pan over here. So my truck is over here to the left, and to the right is the cotton storage place I was referring to at the end of the road. Now on the right, there's a foundation of a building, probably long forgotten, that is buried inside of here. I'll zoom in a little bit. I don't know if you can actually see it, but if not, I'll position. You'll actually be able to see it in a second or two. So here we go. You can see it's a foundation for an old building. The structure itself doesn't appear to be, at or here at all, but the foundation is. It looks like it might have been. Nope, there's bricks. I was gonna say it might have been a place where like this might have been the dock where trucks or whatever could pull up, but it doesn't appear that way because there's bricks there. Looks like that. I guess that used to be a wall at some point. Then we've got just more foundation. This is a really long building. This building's yeah, it's pretty long. We'll continue walking down the path here. Here's an old remnant of the past on the opposite side of the street. I don't know if that's where power lines ran across the road, but yeah, it's on the opposite side. And there is a out there. I don't see any foundations on this side of the road. I do see some old concrete pipes and stuff that are back in the woods there. But on this side, there's a fence line. It's all broken up. There's a fence in the bushes there. And more foundations. I don't even know if they come out on camera. Probably not. Okay, so if you can see, there's a fence post there. And then the fence continues over here. And it looks like there's a rolling gate attached to this fence that's pretty aligned with the sign I could see way in the back that says Continental Oil Company. So this appears to be the remnants of a roller gate. So right about here, what's directly in front of me is actually an old gate. I can see it now. It doesn't look, I don't know if it's a roller gate or if it swings open, but Behind there is the Continental Oil Company. I don't know if you can see the signs or not. Okay, right, if I hold it at the right angle, you might be able to make out. It does say Continental Oil Company, and there's an entire building back there that, at least from this side, is not accessible. Okay, let me see if I can get a better shot of the oil company. Now, if you look in the center of the screen, it's like a white sign with blue lettering, and it actually says Continental Oil Company. So it's still there, the sign. The building is there. It has a tin roof. And the irony is, it looks like once you get past this tree line, the building would be pretty accessible. But I don't see a path to get to the tree line, or through the tree line. So you can actually see the building back there now. It doesn't appear to have windows or anything else. It's just, but the roof looks like it's intact. It has like a tin roof. And then the irony is, on the opposite side of the street, so there's the cotton storage again with 2 water towers. It looks active. On this side of the street, it's an abandoned building. I don't know if this is all part of the Continental Oil Company. Pretty interesting stuff, though. And then there's a pathway that goes around here. I assume this is where a lot of the homeless people traverse through. But let me get a little bold. We're going to go back here. If you hear me scream and run, then you know what happened. Well, actually, you wouldn't know, because this would never make it to YouTube. But we're walking around the back of this building, and to the left, there's just a bunch of fallen trees and not much over there. To the right, it's the back of the building. Definitely very old structures. I mean, they're tin or steel or whatever these are. I could see inside through that hole. There's really nothing in there. It just is a bunch of fallen debris. So not too much in there. And as we loop around the back here, there's another old building to my left, right here, which is directly in front of the camera. That building does still have some windows intact, surprisingly. And looks like there's a door that's open. I would love to explore this with another explorer. If there was another guy in the area who wasn't a serial killer and he wanted to do something like this with me, I'd be completely open to that. But, you know, when you're out here by yourself. All right, inside here, it looks like someone may have set this up as a home. I see a mattress. There's a mattress, like several mattresses stacked up. Looks like somebody took cinder blocks. They got their own little shelf. That's pretty cool. So, I don't know if anyone still lives there. It doesn't look that way, but you never know. Another building off to the left here. I would love to explore these buildings. And I'm sorry if I keep switching to the right and the left. I just keep finding interesting stuff. There's a toilet out here in a tire. So I suspect that the homeless, or whoever was here, put that in there. And maybe they were using it. Maybe that stabilized the toilet and stopped it from falling over. And that was, I don't know. Or that's just Art Deco. Not sure what's going on there. But I ain't opening it. I know that. I'm not going to open that toilet. Okay. This is interesting. If in fact, yeah, this looks like this was part of the standard, it does say unleaded. There's a sign there that says unleaded. So I guess this was some type of fuel stop for the trucks that service this area. It's like a little fuel island with a couple of old pumps. The interesting part is the roof is not that high on this building, so the trucks must have been rather small, or they didn't pull up under the awning. And as we continue towards the cotton storage place, there's actually an entire factory that's abandoned behind this tree line. I think I'll stroll back there real quick and we'll take a look. To the right, there's another abandoned building across the road there. So a lot of metal structures out here that have gone by the wayside. And I'd love to know the history of these buildings and what purpose they served, and just to think that, you know, human beings worked here. This meant something to people, like whether it be their job, you know, whether it be their livelihood, they owned the business. This was all this stuff was built brand new by people, and it served a purpose for however long, you know. So it's just interesting that this is the history of Alexandria, but it seems to be forgotten about. So right here, they've got a sign here that says no smoking or open flame in this area. So I don't know what purpose this building served, but if you can look in the tree line there, it's a bunch of concrete, like cinder blocks stacked up. It used to be some type of building. You know, there's some that are still stacked up. Oh, actually I see the curvature in one of the cinder blocks, which usually would be indicative of like a tank or something that would have been suspended on top of it. Actually, there's more than one. So I suspect these were oil tanks. If you could see the curvature on the block. And then here's another one next to it. So that would make sense that they said no smoking. I guess that's some type of storage there. And then we continue across here. I thought that maybe there was a railroad that ran back here, but up there's another tin or metal structure off to the left there. You probably can't see it. No, I can't really get a good shot of it with all these this brush here, but okay. So here I am behind, or on the backside of the cotton storage place. It looks like there's loading docks, or I don't know if that's a loading dock. The interesting part is there's no way really for trucks to get back here. But maybe, I guess there was at some point access to this area, because if you look at on the base of the docks there, on the side of the dock, it looks like it has the can't tell if those are the old rubber bumpers, like to stop a truck from damaging the bumper when it backs up, or if those are just drainage pipes that are sticking out. But regardless, we'll keep going. Okay. So here we go. As we walk back through here, sorry about the finger. Got my fingers in the path there. All right, so here we go. I'm back here. And this is where there's a lot of buildings further back. I'll zoom in so you can see them. A whole lot of buildings. There's a dumpster back here, but there's no, that dumpster looks like it's been there for quite a while. A lot of trash, and obviously homeless people have been back here. It's a gigantic oil tank over here. So, or a boiler. Pretty interesting though. It's just sitting here in the middle of the road, or in the middle of the pathway. It's not really a road. A lot of trash and bricks and stuff around here. It looks like there's another path that might lead to these old abandoned buildings over here. So we're gonna go check them out real quick. I haven't been over here yet, so this will be a first for all of us. Okay, I gotta go through this crap now, so let's see. All right, I do this for the love of history. Jesus. Okay, well, we made it. There's more pathways. That looks like that goes, this is the direction that the main road is. So it looks like this would have been the path to get in here to get to these. Here's an old fire hydrant, or if you're from New York and you're old school, you call them a Johnny plug. Wonder if there's still water flowing to it. Actually, there probably is, because there's a blue arrow, usually indicative of water for the fire department, so they could find it easy. I assume that because a lot of these old structures, you know, are occupied by homeless people, they probably deal with fires quite a bit, and so they need access to water out here because, oh, look to the left, here's an access road to this area. It's actually a paved road. On the sign itself, I'll zoom in. If you look at the back of the stop sign in the middle of the gate, you can see all the bullet holes in it. So clearly someone thought that it was cool to use that as target practice. And here we go. Spoiler alert, I won't be going in any of these buildings because, once again, here I am by myself in the middle of freaking nowhere. And I know some of you guys who post on YouTube don't have a problem doing that, but that's a little above my risk assessment. Sorry. Like I said, if I get a partner to come out here with me, let's do this. But in the interim, that's not happening because there's a lot of trash out here. Doesn't look like anybody's been out here recently. I mean, all this trash looks pretty old. But so there's a sign there that says New Steel Division on the top of this building. New Steel Division. So I don't know if there's an old steel division. I don't see the name of the company. I will be doing research to figure out what company this is. The roof is caved in this building. It's really cool because it's actually got like a metal roof, but there's brick up top. So that's pretty cool. There's a gigantic oil tank over here, or a boiler. I don't know if it's a boiler. I'm not an expert in these things, guys, so sorry. So if I offend you because I'm mislabeling them, I apologize in advance. Feel free to add that stuff in the comments. There's a lot of structures back here. A lot of structures. There's a really big one all the way to the back. Well, here's an old scale. I just noticed that. Like, the ground is actually a scale for trucks. So I assume that this was, I don't know if this is a recycling plant, and they weighed the truck when it went in and they weighed it when it went out, and that's how you got paid. But here's an old calculator. It's pretty cool. It's a Sharp EL 1197S. That's probably like 80s. That's what I remember from the 80s, is the old calculators with the tape. All right, here's the back of that building. It's pretty cool. The roof is caved in. It's actually completely fallen in. So no, we will not be going in that building, because not only is the roof caved in, but the floor has holes in it. So it's just definitely a hazard. Even the sign right there where the spray paint says no. That's a sign. You ain't going in there. Here's an old TV. If anybody's interested in nostalgic televisions, you could come pick this up for free. Pretty sure the prior owner wouldn't mind. When we go further back here, this is pretty cool. A lot of stuff back here. So these just look like these were open. Bill, I don't know if this is where the steel was stored out of the rain. Here's an old box car, that's interesting. That was an old train car. It no longer has the trucks or the wheels on it, and the side of it is actually exploded, or it's gone. It's almost like it's peeled back like a tin can. Is that the side of that or not? I don't know, but there's a number on the side. Oh, it's wooden, so I don't know if you can see the numbers on the side. If any of you train buffs are out there and know how to look this stuff up, that would be pretty cool to know the history of that car. You can see where the coupler used to be. It was removed. I guess they started using this as an actual storage. But that's pretty much it. I mean, the sun's going down soon, and I don't want to wander too far into this place because that'd be interesting to get out of here at night with with no lights. But I will walk around the back real quick to see if there's any other buildings back here. Okay, it looks like back here is the back of the building. And there's a gate here, a really old wooden gate that is indicative of another entrance to this place. And you could see, if I walk back here, this gate's really old. Matter of fact, this neighborhood's really old, because if you look at the old houses across the street, you can see they're abandoned. Look at this gate, though. Yeah, this gate's definitely... This gate could talk. It probably had stories, because look at this thing. I mean, it's got rust on top of rust. Someone took a rope to tie it together. But this backs into a really old neighborhood. I don't know if that's a storefront or what that is out there in the middle of the video. But as you see to the right, some newer homes. So people still live here. But those are probably storefronts or abandoned storefronts. On Maple Street, I don't have a cross street. I guess there is no cross street because that's more of a path, not a street. But here's another shot of the big warehouse. And that's pretty much it. The cotton storage, I believe they own those 2 water towers, because the water towers actually say cotton storage on them. I assume that those water towers predate the cotton storage place, so maybe they inherited it when they purchased the land. But really cool. I like how this building has like the skylights in it. It's like the fiberglass or whatever it is that's up there is, it allows light in. And you can see where the old power box was here. And if you look at the top, you can see where the electric wire ran. All right, I think I've pretty much exhausted this place. There's so many more places like this in Alexandria. If I had the time to explore them all, I would. If there's anybody in Alexandria that wants to continue this journey, that'd be great. I'm actually only here for another 2 weeks for work, and then I'm leaving. So I'll try and get as much of this in as I can while I'm here, because it's just a lot of history, a lot of untold history. And, we need to capture it now before it completely disappears. That's something else that's cool on the roof of this building. You can see the old motor for, I don't know, I was gonna say that's air conditioning, but I assume that's like some kind of, it's like that air conditioner pump or something, but I don't know if those are cables that are strung down below that, or if those are pipes. Not sure. All right, I think that's the end of the buildings. Everything else back there looks either all woods or newer construction. So if you want, you can join me while I walk back out, and that will conclude this tour. There's another fence back there. This big metal object here looks really heavy. Not sure if that was part of the boiler to hold it in place. It's like an anchor or something. It's interesting how these things end up where they are or end up moved, because they're not light. So it's like you just wonder how this stuff got moved. Okay. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this, hopefully you'll subscribe. Click the like link, the like button. I'm new at this, sorry guys. But that's it. My goal is just to capture history and do a little bit digging to find out a little about the companies that occupy these places, and see if there's any old photos of such, and that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, that's it. Like and subscribe. Thanks. I'm just gonna stroll my way back out of here and see if there's anything else that I catch that's I find interesting. Hope I hear a train. Okay, we are fast approaching the entrance. This is where we crossed, so I guess we'll cut right back through here. Okay. Used to be a building down there. You can see all the bricks that are piled up. And then there's another one of those gigantic boilers. Same one we saw on the way in. It's interesting though, it's just sitting on its side. So it almost appears as if someone came through here trying to clean this stuff up and either gave up, or maybe there was a developer that thought they were going to do something with this land and they changed their mind. Not really sure. But that's it. I thought these were old railroad ties. Not really sure. If it is, well, actually that one, I don't know if that's a railroad tie or a post. Right there. However, I said if there was a train here that ran back here, it's long gone. And I don't know how that would have gone through there. Okay. Shot of the water towers from down below. It's pretty cool. Those things are definitely dated. And then here's the foundations again. So that's cool. And we're back out to the main road by the cotton storage. So if all goes well, our truck is out here to the right with all its windows intact and all my belongings still in place. That is the hope. If not, it's a learning lesson, right? Guess that's what insurance is for. So let's see. Oh, the truck's still there. And at least the driver's window is intact. I can see it. So I don't see any glass on the ground, but I'm still a ways away. It's all right though. You know what? We're gonna dip around here and see if we can get to this Continental Oil Company. There's a pathway back here that looks like it might just lead there. And if it does, we're gonna go check it out. I'm feeling bold today. Let's see. Plastic bags. Those are never a comforting sight in the woods, because you just don't know what's in them. Here's an old piece of a rail. I don't know. It actually has a bolt in it, so I'm not sure if that's an actual. Doesn't look like a train rail, or if it is, yeah, I'm not sure what that is actually. But a bunch of crap back here. I don't think I could even get to the oil company. There's so much crap back here. I think that's part of the oil company building right in front of me though. I just wish there was a clear path to get to it. Let's see, it's all overgrown. I mean, I guess we can go back here a little bit. Check it out. Yeah, no, it's completely overgrown back here, which sucks because I was hoping to get some footage of the front of that building. But either way, I'll do some research on the Continental Oil Company, see when they existed, when they ceased to exist, and how they contributed to the economy of Alexandria. Really cool. Anyway, hopefully this inspires some of you to get out, explore some abandoned things in your communities or branch out to other communities. And, you know, just not only just to take the pictures and the videos, but do the research. You know, there's a lot of information available online. You can pull up old historical photos, aerial photos from the 1950s and the 60s. All that stuff is free. It doesn't even cost anything. So a lot of times what I'll do is, if I drive by a location that looks interesting, I'll drop myself a pin on Google Maps so I know exactly where it was. And then when I get home, I'll start doing some research to figure out, you know, first I'll usually start with looking up the address and seeing if there's any information that I can find. And then from there, let me see, can I get a picture of the standard? Sorry, I keep saying, oh, good Lord, Eric. Let's go. Continental Oil Company. That is just not come up. If you look very faintly, it's visible way off in the distance there. I can't really see it though. In the camera, that is. I can see it very clearly with the naked eye, but camera doesn't quite have the, I guess, the depth perception that the eye has. Let's see. That's a good shot there. Can I get it? Yeah, right in the, towards the top left of the screen, you'll see where it says Continental Oil Company. Yeah. Okay. Got it. That'd be pretty cool to get back there, but this place is pretty holed up. It's pretty secured by the bushes, that is, not by the fence. And that's it. So thanks for joining me. Appreciate you guys. This will be a brand new channel, and post it, like, subscribe, and I'll try and post as often as I can, and just interesting things that I run across on my many travels. All right, have a fantastic day to all of you. Thanks.